크래밋이 무료 배포 중입니다. 레알 믹막 꿀템이에요. 로우, 미드, 하이 등의 조절로 곡을 더 풍성하게 만들 수 있습니다. 디스토션, 드라이브 등의 추가적인 이펙터로 캐릭터 있는 사운드 디자인이 가능해요. 직관적인 조작으로 초보분들도 쉽게 사용할 수 있습니다. 다운받는 법은 더보기했어요. 옥스퍼드 인플레터가 81% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
Off the plugin. And then I will turn Cramit on. Quickly, I will show you the speed and depth slider for the same drums here. You can hear how they sound. Then, as I said, you can also switch the plugin to expansion mode by pressing these arrows here, and I will now play you the drums again and maybe toggle all of these to expansion, and you can hear the difference between expansion and compression. Then we will move on to the distortion section.
웨이브스 튠 리얼타임이 75% 할인 중입니다. $50 사면 1개, $80 사면 2개 공짜예요. 레알 오토튠 꿀템입니다. 간단한 조작으로 트렌디한 효과를 먹을 수 있어요. 튠 보정은 물론 요즘 느낌의 보컬 믹싱이 가능합니다. 스피드, 코렉션 등을 조절해 본인 곡에 알맞게 수정 가능해요. 웨이브스 울티메이트 1년 구독이 20% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
This is a fast, no transition. This is a slow, no transition. So you can just kind of hear, how fast it transitions or doesn't. You can also link these or unlink these, so you can turn them independently. This tolerance is another little feature here within note transition. So the sense is how much you can vary on a note before it reads that you're singing another note, just to give you a little tolerance, and the time is just an added delay of how long it would take to transition. Even in the manual it says these are really only useful if you're dealing with somebody who's like a really trained advanced vocalist. Otherwise, in most instances they probably wouldn't be used, but it is just nice to have that advanced feature in there just in case you need it later. And then over here you just have the correction on and off button. Now it's on, now it's on, now it's on. And then here is just like a dry, wet sort of. So, how much percentage is it going? 1%, you won't really hear much. 100%, you're gonna really hear much. So below the mix dry knob is a format button, corrected or not corrected. In most instances, you're just going to want to keep this on. There's not a lot of times you're going to want to turn it off. This just kind of keeps the natural characteristics of the voice intact as it's.
컴플리트 신스 컬렉션이 89% 할인 중입니다. 매시브, FM, 팔 등이 포함되어 있어요. 초보분들이 처음 미지 작곡할 때 쓰기 좋은 번들입니다. 다양한 종류의 신스로 많은 장르를 만들 수 있어요. K-pop, R&B, 힙합, EDM 등 전부 가능합니다. 인스타컴포저 2 번들이 77% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요. 클라로가 81% 할인 중입니다. 역대급 딜이에요. 레알 EQ 꿀템입니다. 보컬, 스트링, 피아노 등 다양한 악기에 걸 수 있어요. 해당 음역대를 직관적인 조작으로 풍성하게 디자인이 가능합니다. 깔끔한 사운드 원하시는 분들의 강추예요. 옥스퍼드 리미터가 85% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
And if you hop over to the Tweak tab, you will see the EQ changes we have made in a more standard frequency display. What can help is the energy display. The brighter parts are more present. This will help you making better choices in boosting or reducing EQ. On top of the Produce tab, Sonox has added handy descriptions of frequency areas, and I really dig that they have used both the thing you possibly want more, like warmth, as well as the thing you want less, like harshness. That simple inclusion will be very nice and helpful for the ones who are starting out in mixing. Going a bit more in depth, there are shelf type EQ switches for the low and high frequencies. The low shelf is a Pultec type of EQ, so it will boost around the frequency you have chosen, but also dips a little above that frequency to increase clarity in the low end. You can see that clearly in the tweak frequency display. On stereo audio tracks, you have the choice between tone, which is your normal EQ, and width. By selecting width, the color changes to purple and you have control over the stereo width of your audio. The audio display here on top will show
스케일러2가 40% 할인 중입니다. 레알 코드 꿀템이에요. 코드 따는 기능도 있습니다. 해당 파일을 악기에 넣으면 자동으로 딸 수 있어요. 장르에 알맞은 코드 진행을 쉽고 빠르게 만들 수 있습니다. 스케일러 번들이 50% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
So here we go. I'm just going to play that straight C minor chord with that performance on. And I go to the next one. Now the thing about performances is they're only using the notes from whatever chord you've selected. So I'm using the triad of C minor. You can see when I hit that, it's only going to play the notes of C minor. The differences from performances to phrases is that phrases play a melodic variation of that chord, something that's always compatible with your chord. So it's a really great way to come up with expressive melodies based on simple chords that you're playing. Let's have a look at some of the phrases. Let's go to Con amore affabile. Now I'm going to move across to assai. So you can see the different melodic interpretations of that C minor chord. Yeah, really cool. So another thing that we've got here is you can plug.
모도 맥스가 66% 할인 중입니다. 모도 베이스 2 포함 번들이에요. 밴드, 음악, 가요, 락 등 다양한 장르 만들 때 쓰기 좋습니다. 고퀄 사운드로 초보자도 쉽고 빠른 작업이 가능해요. 다양한 이펙트가 전부 내장되어 있습니다. TRX 6 프로가 50% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
They also include a fretless bass, which is inspired by a Jaco Pastorius jazz bass.